Right.
Okay.
Okay, I'm entitling my talk this morning A Mother's Day Gift. Um, this week, Linda and I are giving talks that relate to mothers because Sunday was, of course, Mother's Day. And I probably have said this perhaps you've heard this before, but when my mother was near the end of her life, she told me to go to her nightstand and read her journals. My mom had been a secretary like way, way, way before the days of audio dictating. So she took shorthand, probably I don't know if it's even exists. It may be a language that's gone extinct. And her journals went back and forth um, between shorthand and longhand. And of course, I can't read shorthand. But she was very clear she didn't want me to read her shorthand. It was for her private thoughts. I thought that was a bit ingenious. Now, in this Dharma talk, I'm going to lift some quotes, but I want to be clear from the front end that my mom's impact on me was not only her words of wisdom. Of course, and we had disappointments and conflicts in our relationship, though posthumously, I get to pick and choose the mom I want to celebrate this Mother's Day or this belated Mother's Day. So soon after she died, I did as she told me to do, and I went through her journals. I did what was characterized as active grieving by her hospice nurse. And then I created a pamphlet of my favorite quotes of hers. Now, of course, I chose the quotes that I liked, that touched me at the time. And if I were to do this project again now, it's over 20 years now, I would choose different quotes. I named this pamphlet An Adequate Legacy because those were the words she used to describe her impact on others that she would make through her words. In this spirit, I'm going to read a few entries and I get to respond to them too. So that's what I'm going to do for the rest of the talk. So this first entry is September 22nd, 2004. And this was the day before her 92nd birthday. And she knew she was dying of terminal cancer at this point. So here's the quote. On the eve of my 92nd birthday, after watching The Question of God, C.S. Lewis and Sigmund Freud sort of talking on a PBS special, it was 2 hours on two successive nights. And as a result of listening to all the pros and cons of religious and secular points of view, I have given some thought to their last topic of discussion, which was beliefs regarding afterlife. I had thought of this many times before, and again reverted to universal intelligence, which I think of as the fund of knowledge that my thoughts have joined. Further than that, I thought of it as a pebble tossed into a pool of water and the concentric waves of energy it activates. I hope that my thoughts have reverberated in the minds of every person who's been a part of my life and that I have impacted in some way. They might, in turn, influence other people either by accepting or rejecting my point of view. I think of my parents, whose words are still in my mind, the words I have tried to pass on to others all my life. This applies as well to many others who have influenced me. This is for me an adequate legacy. So that was her last entry. By the way, I bought her first journal right after my dad died. That was in the late 1970s. And she wrote a lot for a while, and then in her later years, not much at all. But this she did write, and it was her last entry. So I'm responding to her. Thanks, Mom, for leaving me your wisdom. Today I'm sharing some of your words online with this meditation group that I've been doing for years. Maybe I'll keep your legacy going this way. Perhaps this is an adequate Mother's Day gift. Okay, so here's a few quotes, and I sort of picked them a little randomly, a little bit because they jumped out at me. No, because they jumped out at me. Probably that's more accurate. So here's one from December 1984. To feel warmth from people and give them a feeling of warmth. That is all the religion I need. And here's my response this morning. I must have learned this from you, Mom. I'm very tuned in to the feeling of warmth, or not warmth, from the people around me. That warmth makes a huge difference for me. In Buddhism, the word you might be referring to is metta, often translated as loving kindness or friendliness. But I really like your word warmth because it feels palpable, a real experiential description. Next quote. As lemon curdles milk, so does hate curdle the mind. Oh, Mom, as you were in the last weeks of your life, you told both me and my sister that you were ready to die, but you were concerned about the political world that we would have to live through. And here it is now, very thing you were concerned with, and it is full of hate. I feel as if my mind is curdling when I hear some of it. It puts me in a bind, listen to the news or not, especially a bind since you studied the news carefully. I'm pretty sure that ignorance is not bliss. Ah, I wish you were around to give me some advice about how to best live through these awful times. The next quote, November 10th, 1987. My ultimate desire or goal is to have an original idea, but each new idea is a step along the way and opens new vistas. Oh, Mom, I forgot this quote. I feel the same way. I must have learned this from you. That's why I love reflective meditation and reflection in general. I get so much uplift from new ideas. I often note this uplift in my meditation journal. This uplift I feel when I get a new idea. But I've learned over time that you can't will new ideas to come, but as I allow my mind to wander, especially in meditation, new ideas seem to sprout. Next quote. I realize I am deeply committed, perhaps more so than people who marry. I am, by the way, my mom had married twice, but she was widowed for over 30 years, so she's not married as she's writing this. Okay, start quote again. I realize I am deeply committed, perhaps more so than people who marry. I am talking about commitment to a way of life, honesty, friendship, warm relationships with people, period, kindness, independence. Oh, Mom, I too am committed to these very same values and ethics. I suppose in many ways I'm a chip off the old block. Mom, I am so happy with the relationship I have with you now. I talk with you often. I feel your warmth and wisdom. It helps sustain me in these challenging times. So that I will end the Dharma talk. And thank you for listening. I really mean it today because it was a kind of healing experience for me to create this talk and to share some of her adequate legacy with you. So